Welcome back to the main event for tonight. The final decider of the second seed for VCS at Worlds. Flash taking on Low-Key. As always, I'm Everyday. With me, bringing you the knowledge, the predictions, and everything that really matters is Yulwei.
Hello,
We
hello.
excited for this one, man?
Oh, I'm super excited. I think this is probably the highlight of the weekend. We had a very fun best of five yesterday. GAM showing us why they are the big favorite from the VCS coming into Worlds. But I think today should be a very close match. I'm hoping for a best of five, go a full 5 games. I think the only time I've ever cast a 5 game series was in Spring Split, Friends Forever against EVOS, the very first playoff matchup. And it's very fitting that we're back for Friends Forever, because Loki pretty much is Friends Forever from before, so let's go.
Well, Yulwei, we can be friends forever as well
Oh
if
yeah,
we're going to strap if we're going to strap in for a 5 game series. And I actually think it's pretty likely, or fairly likely, that this does go to 5. These teams have a very close matchup, in my opinion. It's very hard to call who's going to win today.
absolutely. Yeah, and as you can see, we have 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. So let's touch on a few win conditions and try to categorize both teams for our newer viewers. What would you say is Flash about? What is the identity of Team Flash?
Flash wants to be playing through the bot lane. And we saw that last night, that when they looked like they might take a game off Gum in game 2 yesterday, it was mostly because Slater was very, very fed, and he got really far ahead and looked like he might have been able to carry. Of course, in the end, couldn't because of decisions that were made around a Baron pit, but oh well. That is still going to be very relevant tonight. Though, also, in this matchup, rather than the matchup gap, Stark is unlocked quite a lot, I think.
Against Hani in the top lane? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too. So I'd say Flash probably for me is the star-studded roster. We have Optimus, the long-standing mid laner, who played way back in 2014 against teams like Taipei Assassins, Taipei Snipers. We have Stark coming back after a little bit of a break after the spring split. He jumped teams, now is with Team Stark, no, Team Flash, obviously. And then the prodigy in the ADC position, you touched on him as well, Slater, who's one of the new stars in the league. So I'd say the potential, this is the potential team, the CLG of the VCS, always thinking about what they could achieve with their players, but never actually getting to the actual level they want to show. And Loki, on the
Okay,
other
well,
hand, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, looking at the official predictions, they're all going Flash.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I think that's super bold.
That's very bold. Maybe there's some drama behind the scenes for Loki in the last 2 weeks, because I think it's a very close series, and I actually am with you. I'd say probably
I think I give
Loki
Loki the
slightly
edge.
favored. I think
Yeah.
overall they showed more a higher level of average performance. So they're a very strong team play team. They have good players all around, but no outstanding players. I'd say maybe you could say Artifact is the star of the team. Official broadcast has DNK with the most MVP points, the jungler that is. I think Artifact is probably the focal point of the team. He had the most MVP points on our stream. But yeah, I don't think Artifact is like a superstar of the league. He's very good though, and I think Loki's the best thing about Loki is their very strong team coordination, their good preparation, strong drafts. They were the only team who came in against GAM with a plan that was lane swap. Super interesting game to watch. They tried the lane swap approach, got ahead against the best team in the VCS. So I'm hyped to see what they bring to the table. Garen Yumi might be there for them as well. You never know.
I don't think we'll be seeing Garen Yumi again tonight.
You think Flash will
Um,
prioritize ban Yumi?
I don't. Oh no, if they weren't going to ban Yumi last night, they're not going to ban it. I just don't think. The Garen half is what I question. I don't think. I think we're more likely to see more traditional matchups.
That's fair. I'd expect Loki to have at least prepared the Yumi and Garen on the bot lane, because they strike me as a team that would try to develop more strategies and adapt to the global meta. So I'd expect them to play Garen Yumi maybe in game one and see how it goes, and if they lose, go back to traditional ADCs. I don't expect Flash to suddenly discover the Garen, because they were not able to play the Garen yesterday, so why would they be able to play it today, right? It's not too likely.
Sorry, I think one of my friends might be in chat, but I'm not sure if it's the same person. Anyway, that's irrelevant. I agree. I don't think Flash will play Garen Yumi. They might play Yumi.
Yeah.
Yumi's still very, very strong on 916.
But they had the opportunity to first pick her once yesterday and didn't go for it. They gave up Garen Yumi even to the red side team, which was super surprising to me. I think it was game 2, right? To be fair to them, they stomped game 2 up until the infamous Baron play, where everything went south and they lost the whole series. But let's see if maybe if they are confident in their ability to punish the Garen Yumi in lane, maybe they'll give it up again and then this time not lose top side too heavily, because it's not against Gum. And suddenly the game looks much more in their favor. So I think Garen Yumi definitely could be an early interesting point in the series. But as you said, I don't expect it to be 3, 4, 5 games straight Garen Yumi this time.
No. It would be very interesting to see it brought out once or twice. Like, I'd love to see it brought out by Slater. Very, very unlikely, but I think it'd be super interesting.
He is not going to play Garen. No.
He'll play Kai'Sa. He'll play Kai'Sa every game and average.
I have a good comparison for all the new viewers who are not familiar with the VCS too much in terms of Western players. Slater is a little bit like Reckless. A very predetermined champion pool. He's very good on his champions. He has a very good Kai'Sa, Xayah, but he doesn't really play too many out of the box things. So even though his playstyle might not be like Reckless's, it's definitely the champion priority definitely looks a little bit similar. He has some picks he just likes to lock in whatever is open, right? If Kai'Sa is open, he goes Kai'Sa every game. He has played her 14 times this season, by far the most single pick champion for a player in the VCS. So I expect her to be high priority once again.
Yep, and I think it's one of those things that's probably not going to get banned. I don't think you have to ban out his Kai'Sa, especially not in the first rotation. If they don't pick it and it gets to the mid-draft bans, then sure, maybe. A little bit confused why we're getting so much Gum feature.
Because it's VCS and everything is about Gum, right?
Yeah, you guys know they're not playing today, right?
Yeah.
Like,
the Cannon game.
Maybe there was a... Ooh. I'm very proud of...
This is the play, by the way. This is the play.
Yeah.
I created a big meme in the Discord, if you want to check it out. Very great meme material there. Garen...
I put actual effort in that.
Gragas knocked a fat cannon into his team, and yeah, hilarity ensues.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit questionable why we're watching so many Gamma highlights. Maybe there's been a last-minute deal. Tinnikin wants to get the ultimate revenge, so he's actually sold all 5 of his players to Flash just for the day, just to make sure Loki can't go to Worlds.
Yeah, once again, for a little bit of backstory. So Loki played against Flash on the last week of VCS, and they anticipated Flash to be their semi-final opponent, so they didn't want to show picks and went with 3 troll drafts against them. They played 3 TFT compositions: Demon, Glacial, and Leordal. They actually stomped the Demon game in 25 minutes.
That's why it was 3. That's why it was 3.
Indeed. And then, so they didn't want to show picks. Flash played normally, and then there was huge drama surrounding these kind of show matches or troll matches. And Tinnikin, one of the co-owners for GAM, said he really didn't like these troll picks, and picked Loki for the semifinal matchup, even though Loki was 3rd seed and not 4th seed. Actually, the way stronger team compared to DBL. And GAM just... Go ahead.
It was the incorrect pick if you think about game theory and maximizing your chances. But Gum was so much better than the rest of the league that it didn't really matter. So it was a bit of a grudge match. I'm sure Tinakin especially, but the rest of Gum as well, are watching this one hoping that Flash will be the second seed to Worlds. But we'll have to see if Loki has anything to say about that one.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because we all anticipated this matchup to be the deciding factor for Worlds, right? Everyone knew Gum is probably too good for anyone to contest. DBL's too bad, so it's all about Flash and Loki. And we all expected them to meet in the semifinal, but in the end, it's actually the most important match for them all season. It's the qualification match. Whoever wins today goes to Worlds. Whoever loses today has to sit on the sidelines and watch the other team compete in the play-ins. So yeah, this is one of the most crucial times for.
Very important, as you said.
This Celebrity, another key player today. He's the ADC for Loki. He's going up against Slater. And this is an interesting matchup because Slater is much more of the superstar ADC, as I said, kind of the reckless type. And I'd say Celebrity is more of the copy type, always performing to a good level, but never really outstanding. The bot lane still is very good. So we'll have to see if Celebrity and Venus can hold the lane against the star bot lane from Flash.
Well, I mean, it's interesting that you do talk about how Slater is seen as a star, and he is. But in terms of what the Vietnamese scene seems to think, so is Celebrity.
Yeah.
I know we don't
true.
have as high an opinion of him. He's a good player, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he's by any means like some absolutely bonkers ADC. He's good. But the Vietnamese scene seem to really highly value him.
You're
I
right.
think he's
you're right.
really. So we could see potential play around him today.
Yeah, for me personally, he's a very good laner. I think he has very good 2v2 stats. He's very good in lane with Venus. He picks strong laners as well, right? One of the strongest picks for him is Caitlyn. He picked it's the second most played champion. He likes to go for pushing lanes. I don't really like his team fighting. I think he misses a lot of AAs, auto attacks, and team fights. He's not the greatest mechanical player ever. So I think in terms of late game team fighting, I definitely favor Slater. But Celebrity is good enough to convert a lead into win. And that should be enough for Loki to walk away with the victory here.
If chat is correct that Slater's not starting today, that is one of the stupidest decisions I've ever seen a team make.
Wow.
That's absolutely ridiculous. He played fine against Gum.
He was one of the best players yesterday.
Yeah, he was. The only reason they had any life in that series was due to his play.
That is.
If he's not starting today, the head coach of their team needs to be shot.
Okay, it's a little bit hard, but yeah, I have been very. I have been questioning a lot of the drafts on Flash as well. I don't think their coaching stuff is that great. Not sure if all the power lies with the stars, because we often see Optimus discuss a game with Slater, and then Slater is subbed out for the next game. So I think he definitely holds a lot of power in Flash. But yeah, this is Artemis.
I mean, that's something you often see in non-major regions. It's definitely not unique to Vietnam, where the veteran players just have too much power. The coach needs to be able to crack the whip and say, shut up. Just shut up. It's not your job to pick who plays. Optimus, you're a great player. You're really, really good, but you don't pick the team.
And also alongside Artemis, I think, is Hin, right? This is not CBL, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it's Hin.
Well, CBL genuinely had a bad game. He played really poorly yesterday.
But we enter the draft, so let's get the best of 5 going. We start out with Flash on the blue side and Loki on the red side.
Yep, and Akali is taken out immediately. That was every game last night. That's not surprising. She's not going to see the rift. And Skarner being banned against Yijin once again, just like Gum did.
Yeah, it's a permaban now. They banned him 3 times yesterday.
Is Loki just copying Gum's bans? Because they're the same so far.
Why not, right?
But it is now
it worked for Gum.
And Gragas.
The interesting part is
Gragas,
it's Aatrox.
Taken out. Yeah, Aatrox, there it's gone. So they can't first pick that for Stark. They still could get the Renekton that he's shown willingness to play.
And both the cats are still
how-
open.
That's true. But they're gonna go for the Croc.
So now is crunch time. Will we see Garen Yuumi on the side of Loki? It won 3 games yesterday against Team Flash. I wouldn't say it was the reason they GAM won against Flash yesterday. Would be
I'd
very.
say the Yuumi was a heavy part of the reason.
I guess so. Yeah, the Garen not so much. But
Yeah, I mean, the Jax game was incredible for the Yuumi keeping Zeros alive on the Jax. Was super good. But it is Silas the lock in there. We actually saw the consideration of the Ashe as well.
What
That'd
is
be
this?
down into the bot lane. And Kennen, first rotation.
Oh! I can see. I can smell the triple AP topside coming. So if you're sub to this channel, you can spam. You can spam the great emote that is triple AP topside. Oh no!
Everyone subs so you can spam the triple AP topside emote. Far too often in the VCS, we have no AD on topside. And Sejuani locked in for Yijin saw no play yesterday. She saw 0 priority. So she is locked in this time. The jungle pool was a little bit more pinched.
Yeah, I think this is a very solid draft so far from Flash. I'd like to see the Yuumi here. Why won't they go Yuumi? What's going on?
Why pick Lucian before you pick Yuumi?
Yeah, I don't really
Yuumi,
understand
Lucian's
this.
Great. Just
Lucian is the comfort pick for Artemis though, so I can kind of understand why he wants to go Lucian. And no one seems to prioritize the Yuumi.
But with every ADC in the game except Xayah up, surely you can just pick Yuumi there.
Absolutely.
I have no idea how Yuumi has gotten through to the second phase of a draft on 9/16. Finally, someone got rid of her.
Very, very weird first half of the draft. What do we want to see the teams around their comp out with? I'd say probably a Nautilus or something for Hin, for a very strong 2v2 on the bot lane. And then I'd ban Syndra here as Loki. I don't want to give Syndra over to Optimus, but you could also try to get Syndra for Artifact yourself. And there it is, banned on Flash's side.
That makes sense. I think that would have been an instant snap up. Yuumi is not overrated on 9/16 chat. That is incorrect. Yuumi on 9/16 is busted. 9/17 she's overrated. But Yasuo being removed as well. That's a really interesting ban considering Gragas was already out.
Yeah, and also considering Optimus is not much of a Yasuo player. Artifact, way better Yasuo. Obviously, Optimus has played games of Yasuo because Optimus has played absolutely everything this season. He has played way over 30 games in Summer Split, so had the opportunity to pick whatever he wanted.
Kiana removed as well. A champion we saw almost no priority until that game 3 where Levi went absolutely nuts on the champion.
I think it's a very intelligent ban because it kind of forces Loki to slot the Silas into mid lane, because if they don't, they will really run into the triple AP topside problem. So I really like this Kiana ban. What other AD mid laner is available? Maybe Jace, but Jace is not as great anymore, so yeah, I think this is probably Silas in the mid lane and then AD jungle last pick for DNK.
Yep, very possible. Nautilus locked in is giving them a pretty... It's a bit of a weird bot lane. Nautilus Ezreal's always a little bit of a strange one.
Yeah, this is just a pick away from him.
Yeah. And the Morgana response, so yeah, that Nautilus does absolutely nothing in lane now. This is going to be low-key, just trying to play it safe, get through to the mid-game.
Yeah, this Nautilus pick is actually not doing anything into the enemy comp. He will have a really hard time in this game, in my opinion. This is not a great setup for Nautilus to succeed. It's very easy to react to Nautilus ult with Morgana shield. And not ulting Renekton or Sejuani doesn't do anything either, so yeah, Venus has to be very creative. Maybe some early roams to get his laners ahead, because they have to carry him in the late game.
Yeah, absolutely, and it is Karma for the last pick here for Team Flash, rounding out their comp. Now, they run into a little bit of trouble, but they don't do a huge amount of damage. It's really going to be on Artemis to do a lot of damage here. And the last pick was that Jace. I don't like either of these comps. Why did Kennedy
I
pick
actually
them?
think Flash's comp is very good. I like the mid-game team fighting. I think looks very strong for Flash. 2-item power spike, maybe even 1-item power spike on champs like Renekton, like Karma. Even Lucian is strong on 1 item. So I think they have a strong early teamfight composition. As you say, late game doesn't look too great with Lucian and Renekton, short rangey champions. They don't really do too much on the late game. So yeah, I'd say they have to win the game by 30 minutes.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
And on the other side, strong poke setup, right? It's Jace Ezreal, a very typical poke. I'm kind of curious what Hani wants to go for. If this is AD Cannon, they could actually go for a very strong 4-1 composition. And Loki is one of the few VCS teams I'd actually trust with a 4-1 setup. So yeah, let's see if it's the AD Cannon. Because I don't think AP Cannon is too great in this composition. You want to poke, you don't really want to hard commit to team fights with Jace and Ezreal as a backline.
Yeah, especially because Flash just has the much stronger death ball.
Yeah.
You could potentially use an AP cannon as like kind of the anti-engage. Like if the death ball comes forward, you press R.
Oh, that's fair.
That's not really how you want to use cannon. It's not super good. You'd rather just not get engaged on because you use your poke to make it so that they can't engage. But maybe it's a backup plan. But I do agree with you. I think AD cannon is the better choice. But we're gonna have to see what they decide to go with.
So
who gets off to the better start.
We had the AP Cannon counterpick into Renekton yesterday in the last game for Zeros. And it did very well in lane, but then actually got wrecked in the side lane by Stark. It was a very interesting game because there was a super fat on the cannon, went full team fight, went full AP burst, and then lost the 1-1 to a 1-3 Renekton because Renekton built some MR, and yeah, he could just run over him.
I mean, to be fair, Zeros did not exactly go the ideal build for that 1v1.
Yeah, it's true.
I don't think you go Rabadons and Void Staff against most Renektons as cannon.
That is a very fair point.
It does. I mean, it's hard to tell which cannon we're going to see here because he has gone Klepto. Starting Doran's Blade doesn't tell us much, but that's an AD item.
Fair, but yeah, as you said.
Yeah, it doesn't. Obviously, AP Cannon is plenty happy to start with that Doran's Blade just for the auto attack harass. Nothing particularly interesting at level 1 either. Any interesting runes that you can spot?
Let's look at all the runes. I think it's very standard. Another Klepto Karma in the mid lane into a ranged matchup. That's a little bit interesting. I don't think Karma really needs any big keystone, so she definitely has the slot to go for Kleptomancy. I don't think it's too great into ranged matchups, so let's see if she can get a very good start, some good early rolls. But yeah, that's probably the only unconventional rune choice, or a little bit more interesting rune choice. Everything else looks very standard to me. Electrocute Jace. Very strong in early trades and very strong in jungle mid 2v2s. So that's something we have to look out for as well.
Yeah, I think the mid lane Jace going Electrocute is a lot more standard than if it was a top lane Jace.
Absolutely.
Top lane Jace is much more often the phase rush or that comet. But in the mid lane, you do want that jungle 2v2 power so that you can potentially open up the mid lane of that. And chat brings up a very good point. Hex Splash Karma.
Oh, it's Optimus, yeah. If you just joined us today.
He's got inspiration.
He got inspiration indeed, yeah. Optimus is our notorious Hex Flasher. He used the Hex Flash on LeBlanc, which was kind of, okay, it's LeBlanc. We're okay with that, but then he used Hex Flash mid lane Ezreal, and that was not great, to say the least.
Were we okay with Hex Flash LeBlanc?
I think Hex Flash LeBlanc is not
it's
optimal.
Better than Hex Flash Ezreal.
Yeah, it's definitely better than Hex Flash Ezreal. It's better than Hex Flash Nico as well, by the way. Another favorite of his.
He also went Hex/Nico, which was definitely an interesting one. And to inform people that maybe haven't been watching everything, yes, this series will decide who is the second seed for the VCS. So they'll be going to the play-ins at Worlds. And here comes the first gank. Harney getting locked up. The stun from Stark did land. He played that really well. Do they have the damage to finish him off? Of course they do. And the Crocodile Rock begins early. He's off to a good start. 1-0.
And what a great start coming from the series yesterday where Stark was playing against Zeros and got wrecked in almost every game. And this is very different.
Go. The counter aggression comes in. DNK going in, but Artifact can't get in there to help. So in the end, it's just some Klepto stacks for Optimus.
Yeah, this is actually a very ineffective gank. They didn't get anything there. DNK lost some HP, and Artifact lost some mana, so he probably has to reset and go for an early TP now. A little bit of lane advantage over to Optimus, even though it's not really, doesn't really show in the CS numbers. But yeah, he is the lane priority right now, and a little bit of control over the minion wave as he has superior mana numbers.
Yeah, I will point out this is a very...
Oh, no.
Oh, here we go. The return gank. Harney, are you okay? This will be a 2-0 Renekton at 5 minutes.
That looked so similar to the first one that I thought it was a replay for a moment. What?
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's very fair. And they drew the flash in the first gank, so very easy repeat gank on their side. Great start for Stark and for Yijin as well.
Absolutely. Harney, are you okay? Are you okay, Harney? It's a question that has to be asked.
No, he's not.
Because that did not look good. I mean, yeah, this is basically the tragedy here. He's gone Klepto Cannon into a Renekton, which should be a matchup he wants to win, and he's now 20 CS and 2 kills down. Bad time. Or more like 13 CS, but you know what I mean.
And he has already itemized a little bit of AP, so I think we can expect the AP cannon, which is probably the better choice looking at this position now, because he's behind.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I think AD cannon also really wants to go for PTA most of the time, so I think most of the time when we see the Klepto coming in for top lane cannon, it's probably going towards AP.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be AP cannon. I know he's got the book, so... And I don't think going for the 1v1 build is going to be effective when the Renekton's actually ahead of you at this point. He got a little bit lucky, maybe, that since he went Klepto, he kind of had the flexibility to make the decision in-game.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you've got to make that decision. Look how far back he has to sit. He still doesn't have a flash.
It's not a great position for Hani.
Could still be Sejuani lurking. It's a bad time.
Artifact tries to find Optimus in the river. Actually, turns the Scuttle Crab, so success for Artifact on his side. No tier early on. I think this is one of the matchups where you can actually go for tier on the Jace, especially looking at the enemy comp, because enemy wants to spike at 1 and 2 items. So you don't really have to rush lethality, in my opinion. You could go for a little bit of a later scaling build on this mid lane Jace, but he doesn't want to go for it. Interesting choice. Don't really agree with this, but it's fine. Definitely not a bad build.
Yeah, exactly. I think it is sort of a matter of opinion whether the tier is good here. I tend to agree with you that I think since you're not going to be the first team to power spike, no matter how, unless the early game went absolutely ridiculous in your favor, which it clearly hasn't. You definitely could have built tier, but oh well, he'll be all right. Might drop off a little bit later. We'll have to see. And Yijin is in the top side again.
Oh no.
Hani
at least has a little bit of vision now to cover for him. He's actually behind his jungler in terms of farm. This is rough.
What can Hani do about these 30 to 50 wild boars that are coming into his lane?
So far, not a whole lot.
No.
As we've seen. And Stark will get the solo plating on top of that, even though DNK and even Venus now want to reinforce in the top lane. And this
could be a strong counter.
Might get Hani back into the game.
Which he is. Ooh, Stark, you're in some trouble.
Great hooks.
How are you feeling, Stark? The double chains coming out, but Yijin's here. There's the cannon ult. DNK's taking a lot of damage on the backside, but not enough. The shutdown onto Stark. Flashing away is Yijin, but he'll get locked up anyway. Venus nicks the kill away, but it is 2 kills backed for Loki, and importantly, it was Yijin's flash as well, which he really shouldn't have committed considering he had a Nordhold on him.
And what a great way to introduce both these teams to new viewers. We have the star-studded roster on Flash side. They get advantages through superior laning, as we've seen, and great early game plays and plans. And then we have Loki, the team play focused team.
Celebrity taking a lot of damage. He's in a lot of trouble. Artemis is going under the tower. The binding hit, and he said, "Thank you very much."
And that really can't happen.
Still lead for Flash.
That's so unfortunate. They were sure that Ezreal would be safe 1v2 in the bot lane, and he was for a few minutes, but then, just as the Nautilus was already returning to his lane, he dies on the backside. That's not great.
Yep. Yijin shouldn't flash here. You should just accept that you did.
A little bit of panic flash on his side. Stark's flash is back available, so they can still return gank in the top lane. Flash W, one of the strongest setups in the game. We saw it working once before already. I really like Stark's lane positioning, by the way. I think he's handled the wave in a way that cost Harney many CS in the early game. And we can see, look at the CS numbers.
The CS numbers are absolutely ridiculous, considering this is a Renekton beating out over a cannon. Those 2 assists were very nice, but unfortunately for Harney, he didn't pick up either of the kills. So he's definitely not back in this matchup by any means. So the gap has closed.
It's still probably about 1k gold lead in the top lane, I'd say. Looking at the overall lead in the game, it's also sitting at 1k. I think it's a tiny gold lead for Artemis and probably a big gold lead for Stark, and then a little bit of a lead for DNK because he got the shutdown on Stark in the prior fight. So overall, still a very good position for Flash.
Yeah, absolutely. They're looking very good. They should be able to transform this into their 1-item power spike very nicely. We do see Artemis on that Lucian going for the build to reflect that, going straight for that Blade of the Ruin King.
Yeah, I have to say I'm not the biggest fan of Optimus going utility first item. Obviously, Athene's is a very strong first item power spike, not in terms of damage, but in terms of overall teamfight utility for the Karma. I think Luden's would have been a better choice here. It still gives your shield a lot of oomph, and you have more damage as well. Yeah.
Yep.
Not the biggest fan of this one. I think Athene's is a very strong first item for Karma in the mid lane if she faces an AP champion, because it gives a little bit of MR as well, so it gives you every relevant stat you want. But into Jace.
We should have a bit of a skirmish over the blue buff here. Optimus throws himself over the wall, wants to go onto DNK.
Oh, no!
Stopwatch. The Sejuani ults are going everywhere. No one's hitting. Teleport's been called, but here comes Artemis and Stark. Hin on the other side as well hits the massive soul shackles. The Morgana going absolutely huge. 2 kills picked up for Stark. DNK, last man standing. Venus is saying, "Mate, I want to come help, but no, thank you."
And another big fight going over to Flash.
Yep,
exactly that. Very aggressive invade from DNK and Artifact. We talked about their jungle mid lane 2v2 being very strong. Also utilizing the electrocute. We probably have the chance to look at that play again, which I would really like. I think the first Sejuani ulti actually bought some time for the stopwatch to bait, and then for Optimus to come back into the fight. Yeah, let's look at this again. So Hani starts a fight against Stark. The teleport comes in, so Hani has to back off. No ult available. This can is not relevant anymore. And we see Stark and Artemis arrive. And Hin actually with the super great binding on Celebrity. Once again, catching out the Ezreal. Gets the ultimate down and snipes away another kill on DNK. Not really necessary, but he worked for it, so I'm fine with that. Very good Morgana performance out of Hin in his first game on this stage.
Yep, she earned it. She can have it. That was a huge play out of Hin, coming in from the flank to hit the big binding and the big soul shackles. What we love to see. Unfortunately, we are in a pause. It wouldn't be a VCS series without a good pause. So hopefully we get through that quickly. Looks like it might be a headset issue.
Might be. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we can turn the brain machines for Loki. Turn them on.
Maybe they're not calibrated right.
definitely looks like they aren't. Very weak early game performance from Loki so far. Big mistakes, especially from Celebrity side. Getting caught twice in a row now by the Morgana Q. Obviously, Hani getting caught in the top lane on his cannon multiple times. Now the over-aggressive invade as well. Not the greatest showing in the first game after 2 weeks, but maybe they're still a little bit cold, right? They Flash played yesterday on this stage, played in the final, and looked decent.
Well, they played in the final. we'll get to that. They looked good in
Game 2.
The second.
Yeah.
Game 2, they did look pretty good for half of it. We back in? All right,
Yeah.
We've got game.
Here we are.
Good job. And Yijin picking up Shelly. Got plenty of time to drop that for turret plates as well, which is pretty nice. And they've also done the lane swap, taken Stark down to the bot lane.
Yeah.
And
Artemis
Artemis
used to teleport in the prior play, so he just stayed in the top lane, and as Stark recalled anyway, he just went to the bot lane. Good, very dynamic swap. I don't really think this is the lane setup we are going to see for a long time in this match, but good adaptation from Flash, just utilizing the map positioning. And yeah, that's about it. First item coming in now for almost every champ on Flash side, and we talked in the pick and ban about their very strong 1-2 item power spike team composition. So I'd really like to see them create fights about objectives. Luckily for Loki, it's only a Cloud Drake, so don't really have to fight about around that one.
Yeah, Loki's very happy to see the clown spawning. Gives them just a little bit more time to potentially catch up. They do have 3 men on the bottom side here. They might try and find something. Artifact as well. Looking like he might get on the move, but decides against it. Hardy having a terrible time up in top lane. That's another plating for Stark.
Yeah. They still have 30 seconds to... Oh no, Celebrity is dead again.
Oh, here we go. Celebrity goes down. Artemis, is there going to be a counter kill? No, because DNK had already left. I tell a lie. He does go down to Venus. Teleport being used. That is a awful teleport, Stark. That is almost as bad as his TP in Game 1 last night. That was terrible, but they do pick up the 2 kills.
They didn't even teleport 1 member in. They teleported 2 members in because there was 1 support they had to fight.
Oh, you're right. Optimus, God. Oh, but now they found Stark as well. He goes down.
A little bit of chaos ensues.
And they do get a first turret as well with the Shelly pop.
Let's look at what happened here. Probably just a binding landing, right?
Yeah, we didn't see the start of this play, I assume.
Man, Celebrity.
To dodge those Celebrity. Yeah, and then the Black Shield was on, so Venus couldn't do anything. And then they were so terrified of the big man Nautilus that they pull in every resource they've got. This is an Avengers level threat, and here they all are.
It's so great. one tiny Nautilus. It's like, seriously, guys? Okay, I guess I'll take it.
Up in the top lane, Artemis in some trouble. Hani wants blood, and DNK will be the one to claim it. Loki firing back here.
Yeah, they closed the gold gap, actually, and they secured a turret in the top lane afterwards, so it's only 2k. 2k is still a big lead, right, for Flash at 15 minutes with a superior 1-item team composition, so right now they're farther ahead than only 2k. It's definitely a bigger lead in terms of combat effectiveness. But yeah, there's a glimmer of hope for Loki. If they can extend the game 15 more minutes, they might have a chance to win this one.
Yeah, I mean, in 50 minutes, anything could happen.
That's very true.
Unfortunately, that their Nautilus might fall off a little bit by that point. But, Yijin very far forward here, but he's going to escape towards his strong Renekton. Looking at the gold leads on screen here, look at the lead DNK has in the jungle matchup. He's got a 900 gold lead.
It's actually pretty big. Top lane is only sitting at 1.6k. I expected it to be more. So, Cannon will be... let's not kid ourselves. He will be very useless in the coming team fights, but maybe... if he secures 2 more items, he might be able to do something to the backline. It's actually super hard for Artemis to fight around the cannon ult. Very low Yeah, Lucian can't really do anything to dodge and still deal damage, so he has to wait out the cannon ult, and that's the opportunity for the two AD threats on Loki's side to equalize the damage numbers in the fight. So
that it certainly is. So we're gonna have to see where the next point of pressure is going to be. This Cloud Drake, neither team particularly cares about it. Honestly, I think Flash should really take it
yeah,
because they want the next track to
I
spawn.
agree. I agree. I think
The Cloud Drake means very little, but they need the next one to spawn.
especially with the acceleration-based team composition, I really think they should focus more on this very free objective. There's nothing on the map they have to focus around right now. Baron has not yet spawned, Rift Herald is down, no easy turret to secure, so just take the dragon. It only takes about 30 seconds. And if the enemies want to contest, that's great for you, right? You want to fight, so yeah. Don't really understand either why they are deprioritizing Cloud Drake this much. Even just having a Cloud Drake in the mid game is not bad, right? It's not like you're hampering your stats or anything. It's still a buff.
Yeah, exactly. There's definitely the Cloud Drake is not bad at all, and getting the next one to spawn that could be the Infernal or the Mountain while you're strong. But here we go. Artifact caught out very badly here. Stark will clean that one up. Stark is absolutely lighting up the stage, trying to make up for yesterday's unfortunate showing by him. Of course, he was against a very different caliber of opponent, but that was super clean.
That was super clean by Yijin as well. Straight up fired the Sejuani ult from very far away and landed it exactly on top of Artifact. He had the flash available, so he could have flashed away maybe, but was not able to react in time, and so far not the greatest of games for either solo laner, or even bot laner for Loki. Lane's really struggling. The only player performing is DNK for the most part.
Yep, and there's the stolen Sejuani ult back. You look clean, I do too. Optimus now taking a lot of damage, as is him. The Soul Shackles are running, will lock up Venus. Can they hunt down onto Optimus? He's going to be a speedy boy. DNK taking a lot of damage, but this is a Silas. He'll have a W, so I don't think there's too much chance for a counter kill unless they can't get Optimus, which they can in the end. DNK picks it up. Well done there. Loki doesn't want to die quite yet in this game, and it's still just 2k.
Yeah, good coordination for Loki. Once again, catching out Flash's members, overextending in the mid lane. Even Hani got a little bit of alone time in the top lane to get back into the game. He's on the same level as Stark. That's already an achievement here. We saw top laners falling horribly far behind in terms of experience. And now, look at the scoreboard for DNK. 5-1-1, 300 gold shutdown on his head.
Yeah, Comrade Silas is bringing glory to the motherland. Doing very, very well this game with that stolen ult.
And look at Venus as well. So far, he has been absolutely on top of his game with the Q. Yep. He lands almost every hook so far in the game. And we said it's a super hard game for Nautilus to play against the Black Shield and stuff like that. But so far, he has had a big impact on the game. 5 kill participations out of 7 kills. Only his jungler sits at 1 more. So great game so far from Venus.
Yeah, in lane, he didn't do a huge amount, but there wasn't much he could do. Going against Lucian Morgana as Ezreal Nautilus, you basically don't exist. So the fact that he's been able to have the level of impact that he has is actually a testament to how well he's playing.
Absolutely. The early top roam, I really like the top roam. Good coordination overall with Venus and DNK in this game. Loki's laners have to step up, but if they're able to win this game, this will be a very, very heavy blow to Flash, because they stomped the early game this time. If they lose another early game stomp, like they did yesterday in game 2 against Gam, it's not looking great for their mental.
No. This would be really indicative of a very bad trend for Flash if they were able to lose a game like this. When it happens against someone like Gum, you can write it off as just, Gum's really, really good. But if it happens in a game like this, where it's a much more even, skilled matchup, that's when you start getting a little bit worried about if Flash is who you want at Worlds.
Yep.
But they haven't lost it yet, so...
And I have to say, once again, I disagree with the item choices, especially for Artemis and Optimus in this game. Look at Stark's build. He went full early game, full damage in the early game on his Renekton. He's still super strong. But he doesn't really have the backup from his backline, because the Lucian went with a super strong first item power spike, and then went back to the crit Lucian, which means his second item is actually not that strong.
There you go.
And on the side of Optimus, you have a very defensive, low damage itemization for the Karma as well. So I actually think they might struggle to win teamfights right now.
Caught out here. He's gone into the stopwatch on absolutely no hell. Artemis, DK, you tanked a lot of that, but he baited him forward with that stopwatch. Yijin now in some trouble, uses his ult, but here comes Hani, cannon ult being used, locking him down for as long as he can, but it's a big fat pig. Can Yijin get away? He can, but it's another 2 kills for Loki. And oh no, Flash.
Oh no.
Are you getting flashbacks?
Do you think that was the last time we saw Artemis all season? I think so.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe we might have a situation where Optimus just gives up. Just both my ADCs are bad. I'm perfect, so it must. Is it me that's wrong? No,
no,
it's the ADC.
Can't be. Look at Artemis here. He flashes into 3 enemies to secure the kill, or at least 2. No, it's 3 enemies. He can see the Ezreal.
Yeah, and
wow.
I mean, DK, I think, is being very clever. Look at the bait.
I mean, even if DNK dies here, I think you never flash over the wall to give up your kill. It's an ADC. It's a shutdown, so it would have been a lot of gold for him, but you're still giving up your flash and your life, so not worth it all, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was some serious bloodlust, and it definitely did not work out for him at all. And in the mid lane, we do have... No. They will just disengage.
And the difference is down to 1k gold. All of that gold is in the top lane, and the top lane matchups naturally shifts back into Cannon's favor, not in terms of 1v1. He will never win the 1v1 in this game, but in terms of teamfight impact, especially with his flash available. I'd say it's already at a point where Loki can win teamfights. They're probably still not favored to win them, but give them 4 or 5 more minutes, and they win every teamfight in the game.
They don't want to fight a fair team fight, though. They definitely want to poke before.
Yeah, that's fair.
Go in when there's some low health bars. I still think the superior death ball is on the side of Flash.
It is, but it's lacking damage. As you said in the draft already, they lack damage.
Ooh, another hook there onto Yijin. He's going to take a lot, but here comes the reinforcements. Do Loki want to keep going? Or rather, do Flash want to keep going as they throw out the Sejuani ult? Doesn't find its mark, though.
Now Sejuani ult for Loki available, but not for Yijin. So 1 big CC tool.
He can't quite take it yet. He's a few seconds until he...
Yeah.
He's just got, literally moments. Hani caught out horribly, though. Has to pop the ult and the Zhonya's. His team needs to back him up here, and they don't. Artemis will get that first kill, and this might be Flash turning it back around into their favor. Venus goes into the stopwatch. Celebrity has taken so much damage, but it's a huge true shot barrage. That's a lot of damage. Can they potentially find something as a 3? I don't think they can.
So many low health bars. Oh, no.
Artifact is down. DNK's thrown hrown back into the chain, and he actually does pick up 1. Celebrity, how you wish you still had your ult, but oh no.
At least they thwart the Baron. Of course. Yep. Oh, maybe not. Yijin actually has this Warmog, so he has enough time to regenerate health and go for the Baron.
Double TP. Yep, they're going to go for this.
And Celebrity should probably not try to steal this. It's very unlikely to happen. So focus on clearing out the waves. Yeah, no.
Ooh.
Just don't. You can't. Use the reset timing. Okay.
Yes.
That was actually pretty close. No smite.
Oh, that was close.
Down to 160 HP after the true shot brush.
Yeah, that was really close. But doesn't take it. So that is Baron for Flash. They're firmly back in the driver's seat.
And another big mistake from Hani. He tried to go for the flank, right? He tried to set up the flank, but Flash sniffed out his positioning. Actually, it was not hard to sniff out because they saw him clear ward, so not a whole lot of sniffing going on there. Yeah, not sure why it took him so long to activate ult and stopwatch here. In the end, it doesn't do anything.
Yep. And then low-key just gets run down. The movement speed from Karma is just so good. There's just nothing they can do. They should have, honestly, I think they could have backed off at 3 or 4 different points, but the low health bars were too tempting.
Yeah, they really baited them in. They tried, okay,
DK did not need to do that.
DNK almost got very close to getting a triple kill there, to be fair to him. So, yeah, not the greatest play, especially looking back at what we saw, but I can see why he tried to go for the play, right? It looked very close. 3 players dropped down to 100 or below 100 HP.
Yeah, you can't blame him too much without the glory of hindsight.
So now Hani still has his flash available. No ult is available as well. He doesn't really deal a whole lot of damage, but he can at least try to set up stuns.
Yeah. He's definitely a threat that has to be played around. If he's in the middle of the enemy team, he's not going to be doing anything quite like Zeros did last night, but
right now the big problem for Loki as a whole is the big front line for Flash. We have a super fat Sejuani, a very strong Renekton with Guardian Angel as well, so it's super hard to get through the front line, and they need to land their poke, which is not possible if the Sejuani just stays there and takes all the poke.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how they ever kill this Sejuani, really.
Yep.
She's just got too much health. How do they get through her?
Right now it's not easy, that's for sure. She doesn't really have the best, the greatest amount of resistances, I should say, but doesn't matter. She has Aftershock, she has Warmarks as well, so if Loki's not able to lock down the kill, she just goes back into a jungle, comes back 10 seconds later with full HP.
Yep. That's the power of this pick when you get ahead early, or when you get ahead at all, I should say. You do just kind of become unkillable. Could be caught out here, though, potentially.
Nope.
They don't know if she's got any help, though, but very good Q away. Now the help is coming, and look how much time Yijin can just sit there, soaking up the entire damage from Loki. He's still alive. He's not even going to die, but Loki is Optimus starting off well. Stark goes into the GA, and Artemis is here. Slater, who? As he picks up the double, he keeps himself on the team, and they push into the base. And Flash looking very dominant in this game one.
And it's long ago that I saw a frontline dominate a team fight this heavily, because we don't really see a whole lot of full tank players anymore. It's sometimes we see fat Sejuanis, but another beefy frontliner at the side of Sejuani, and she's super tanky in this game. But will we see the throw from Flash? They tried to focus.
This is potentially the massive throw. Get it off the screen! What is this? As DNK is running away, he might have his E and his W to go for the plating. Does he picks up one? He needs the W cooldown desperately, but he's Optimus running away. Artifact doing so much damage. Yijin on no health at all, and he gets taken down, and now Ace for the side of Loki. Is this the throw? And it's another pause.
Yeah, that was too much action to digest, so we have to step back and take a pause, look at what happened. Very interesting turn of events. Actually gave Loki a big chance to win this game, because they inflated their gold a lot with all the shutdowns here. Looking at this again, Celebrity lands a lot of very good combos. Stark is very low, dropped his GA early on, so he goes down immediately. A very good catch from Venus once again on Hin, who used this black shield on someone else. So Hin is sitting dark, will go down. Look at DNK. The heal, once again, 700 heal. And now they're on the chase for Optimus. No mana at all, so it's only a matter of time for Artifact to pick up this kill. Hani lands another good Q, 600 gold for him. That was probably around 4,000 or 5,000 gold for Loki. So can they do anything with this one?
DNK is absolutely showing the immortal power of material dialecticism, and why every comrade needs to know all about those things. That is a joke that no one in chat is going to understand, because it's so niche. But regardless, He did incredibly well there, and low-key, you've still got a very big hill to climb. They have no structures left in the mid lane or in front of the Nexus.
Yeah.
But suddenly the gold is looking a lot closer than it should.
And suddenly there are useful items on Hani. There's a lot of AP on DNK. If he ever gets to live through the first few seconds of the fight, he has a lot of DPS to contribute. I think Celebrity probably still needs one more item to really threaten the front line. I'd really like to see the armor, piercing through the armor with Last Whisper. That's the item name. Yeah, Last Whisper. Because I think he needs the Last Whisper against Sejuani.
Yeah, I think they definitely need a way to get through the Sejuani. I wouldn't necessarily mind going like Lord Dominic's either.
No, I like the Lord Dominic's, yeah.
Yeah. That gives the max health damage. I think that'd be really good if you want to do that front to back team fight. And
Absolutely.
help DNK. The focus for Loki here needs to be enabling DNK.
Yeah, I think the turning point of this game is can Loki ever get to a point where they are able to burst down the tanks on Flash's side? Because we saw in the last team fight, Flash needs a while to get going in the team fights, right? They need to set up the battle lines in their favor. They need Artemis in a good position to follow up on the engage from the tanks. And if Yijin and Stark go down early on in the fight, I don't think Artemis, Optimus, and Hidden can do anything. So that's really the question here. Can Loki get to a point where the two backliners, maybe even DNK, can kill especially Yijin fast enough for them to win the team fight?
Well, I definitely think DNK can get to that point. He has a lot of AP. He's got 10 stacks on a Dark Seal. He could get super nutty and go for the Medjais. Just go all in.
I think he needs to avoid them, though.
Yeah, it would be a very bold play, but...
And Celebrity refuses to win this match because he went with the Guardian Angel on Asriel. That's probably the most useless item you could pick up in this situation. It's so random.
We've got a lot of new viewers. Yulwei advocates for never building Guardian Angel on
ADCs. Yeah, it's so useless on ADCs.
Obviously, frontliners, it's great, but
I hate
so about every second game we get, the ADC's decided to lose by building GA.
I
gotta say, I agree. Stark's in a lot of trouble here. He's caught. The cannon stun is good. He flashes away, but there's an acceleration gate. Can they find him? They're hunting as fast as they can. They need a little bit more. He gets the E. He should have the dice, but there's another acceleration gate, and Stark goes down. Artifact is the benefactor of that gold, but they're using the time to push in the top lane.
And
I like the decision.
By the way, they picked up burn buff.
Ooh, oh wow, they did too.
they just took a burn with them.
Also, they killed DNK, so that's probably game.
Look at the damage from the Sejuani, the stolen Sejuani, although. Almost half HP. That looked like the TFT Sejuani.
Up for ages. Morgana does go down. Artifact throwing himself forward, but he's so low, he will go down. Can they do anything? Celebrity, this is your time. Justify your name, son. Justify it. He goes into the GA. It might actually matter here because he should be able to come up and immediately be able to... He ease forward. The absolute Chad, but the absolute fool.
Yeah, indeed. What a great GA by the way. Great purchase. Winning him the game.
It genuinely could have mattered if he'd E'd backwards.
Yeah, but imagine the GA being Lord Dominic's regard.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
He would have killed the Sejuani 3 times.
Why did he eat forward?
Not the greatest end to the game. Loki tried to kill the Renekton. It took them a lot of time, and Flash saw the opportunity to get the objective in the top lane. Then DNK gets caught after a great game on a Silas. He makes one crucial mistake. Still landed the Sejuani ult. A lot of damage came through that one. But in the end, he needed to contribute more DPS. I thought if he's able to win, to live through the first few seconds of the fight, turns out he was not. And that's the winning play for Flash. They go up 1-0 in the series. But what a struggle. What a struggle.
Yeah, it was much harder for Flash than that ever should have been.
Absolutely. And not the greatest sign. I mean, if they're able to still win this series through superior laning and 2 more games, it's fine, right? They can work on their closing and team fights or team play later on as well. But yeah, they should have closed out the game at 25 minutes with that early game lead. Took them way too long.
Absolutely. Yeah, not great at all. Definitely not what we want to see.
Yeah, and that's the first game of the best of 5 to decide who goes to Worlds. I think. What did we learn from this game? Hani loses to Stark. I think that's the biggest takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing is that Flash has a terrible mid game.
Yeah, that's another good
They don't
takeaway.
know what they're doing. But that's weird because their mid game in the split was great.
Yeah, most of the time it was. They were one of our most solid teams when it came to closing out leads. Definitely don't look like they're maybe week 6, maybe week 5 selves. Struggle way more with mid game. Yesterday they threw a mid game lead against Gam. This time at least they take away the victory.
Yeah.
But man,
Gonna have to see if they can look a little bit better in game 2, or if we will get the low key fire back. What do we think needs to change in terms of picks and bans? I don't want to see the cannon again.
no.
I don't think it was terrible in the end, but it didn't make sense as a pick.
I really want to see a tank for Hani. Just pick something that doesn't die to ganks. Pick a Mordekaiser, pick a Ornn, maybe his Scion.
Please pick Mordekaiser. Give me my Mordekaiser.
Yeah, I think you can't put him on a volatile champ that has to get ahead. That's not great utilization of the player. He has played super good Nico games. Remember at the beginning of the split, we praised him for his Nico all the time. He was the best Nico top laner in the league. Never went back to the Nico. I think Nico is an option here.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely no reason you can't pick Nico instead of Cannon in that situation.
DNK Salas looked super good, so I think they need at least one AD solo laner. Jace did okay. I think Jace was a fine pick in this game. Kiana would have been better for Artifact, but she was banned, right?
Yeah, she was banned in the second phase, though. So they picked Kennen before they picked Kiana.
That's fair.
That's insane if you look at a global priority, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. They could have picked Cannon later on, or a tank for top lane.
Yeah.
Especially looking back at the game with the superior analysis of hindsight, obviously, we know now that Cannon as a counterpick doesn't even do anything against Renekton in Hani's hands, so
no,
would have been better to prioritize the mid lane champion and go with whatever is available for Hani.
Precisely. It didn't make a lot of sense at all.
The first 2 ganks looked so similar in the top lane. I really thought we watched a replay at the second one.
Yeah. But that was what got it ahead. It's what broke the back of that Kennen matchup. They might make the call that, Kennen's fine, we just can't have that early game again, but I think that's a bad call.
Yeah, and Celebrity is the other player I'm looking at for the next game. He really has to step up. He got caught way too often with the Ezreal. Straight into his bindings, and all that while Venus had one of his best games ever on Nautilus, in my opinion. He landed every single hook in the game, at least it looked like it. So yeah, Celebrity needs to play a better game. Absolutely.
So we're going to have to see if there is anything that they can really do here to potentially bounce back. It's going to be tricky.
Yeah, it's only one game though, right?
It is only one.
It's only one game. They can probably collect themselves and come in with a different strategy here. I like the Silas for DNK. I think that's probably something they want to prioritize again. Maybe, as you said, maybe look at the Kiana. They will be on blue side in the next game if they want to. Not sure if they want to, but they definitely have side selection for the next game. So if they want, they can go for the blue side first pick Kiana. It's not something we see too often in the VCS. but definitely something that would happen in the LEC, for example. So
Yeah.
I will see this one again. This was the tragic moment where Hani got caught setting up a flank, and then he got flanked.
Yeah, it all went wrong.
Yeah, sad to see. And Artemis once again stepping forward, but this time he's far enough away from the rest of the threats to survive. Artemis, what do you think of Artemis's performance? Was it warranted to pick Artemis in this game?
No,
No, I don't think so
not
either.
really. I think he was very average. He benefited a lot from the fact that his team was quite far ahead.
And Hin carried in the
Uh,
lane.
Yeah, Hin had a I will say it was very justified to bring in Hin. I think CBL had a very average performance yesterday, and Hin had a great performance in that game. I think both supports looked really, really good.
Yep, have to agree. And both ADCs look kind of whack. I think Celebrity was worse than Artemis, but Artemis had his moments as well.
Yep.
No idea if Slater will come back in. Maybe they practiced Artemis Hin as a bot lane and Slater CBL and want to remain on the Artemis Hin train, right? That could be one of the reasons they want to play Artemis.
You won the game, right? You won the game, so are you really going to make swaps?
Yeah, that's a good point.
After you win? I think normally you'd wait till you lose.
Sometimes it's not great to wait till you lose though,
Yeah,
right? Maybe it's better to swap them now and try to surprise Loki with a different bot lane that plays trades completely differently. That's harder for Celebrity and Venus to adjust to. I think that would actually be a very solid strategy from Flash. Try to cheese game one with Artemis and Hin, and then pick your main roster and surprise the enemy with very different trade patterns. Would like to see that actually.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
And to be fair, Hin and Artemis have played together as well, right? They played in the semifinal alongside each other. Because CBL had to sit out. I think he was sick. Yeah, I think he was sick in the semifinals.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh no, Celebrity.
Yeah,
Oh no. Oh.
Why E forward?
Oh.
E over the wall, man.
That was. Yeah, he saw blood in the water. Sadly, it was his own.
He could have got the kill. Yeah, he looked forward in time and saw his own blood, but didn't realize that it was his. But game 2 will. I think if Flash picks up game 2, the momentum starts getting pretty scary.
Yeah.
So hopefully Low-Key fires back so we can get the 3-game series that we wanted.
Five. Don't get us 3 games.
Sorry. Yeah, no, not 3 games. 5 games. My God. Not regular split mode.
I'd say Loki looked a little bit worse than I expected, especially the laners. Their mid-game coordination is still strong, and what I like with Loki, they don't give up, right? They try to create plays in the mid game, even from behind. They try to look for picks. They try to go for objectives whenever they could. So I like that part about Loki. They have to step up their laning, though. You can't win only through superior team fighting or superior teamwork. It's 2019. Platings are too important. You need an early game.
It's true. It's very true. You can't. You also, on the flip side of that, if Flash isn't going to convert those leads, it doesn't matter as much, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We've seen today and yesterday where Flash has really fumbled. But just 4.5 minutes and we will find out what Low-Key can do firing back in game 2.
Yeah, we'll be back with game 2. Don't be surprised if the stream goes black for a second, because I have to reset to avoid lag. We don't want to have the lag on our side. There's enough lag and delay on the official side, so let's avoid that. And we'll be back with game 2. See you.